All right, so today we're going to dive into a company called ENTIFY. They're making a pretty bold promise to build a truly sovereign digital world. We're going to break down their whole plan. We're talking a new kind of digital identity, ownership, and even a whole new economy. So let's get right into it. So let me start by asking you a question, a really fundamental one. When you go online, who really controls your digital identity? Think about it. Your data, your messages, all your digital stuff. Is it actually you? Or is it the big platforms you're using every day? This is the core problem ENTIFY is trying to solve. And here's how ENTIFY sees it. They argue that our entire digital economy right now is built on two things: surveillance and speculation. Basically, our data is constantly being monitored, and value is often just tied to market hype instead of, real-world worth. This is the world they're pushing back against. Okay, so what's the alternative then? This brings us right to their core mission, which is all about building a totally new world of digital trust. And this quote, man, it just gets right to the heart of their philosophy. We believe digital technology should empower people, not monitor them. It's a simple idea, right? But it's the driving force behind absolutely everything they're building. So how do you take that big idea and turn it into an actual mission? Well, it breaks down into a few key goals. First, give individuals real control over their digital lives. Next, build a new, high-trust digital economy. And then flip the script, replace surveillance with privacy, and replace all that market speculation with what they call real value. It's all in the name of protecting your ownership and your autonomy. Now, that all sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually build something like that? And that brings us to the actual tools ENTIFY is creating to make this whole digital sovereignty thing a reality. Okay, so their foundational piece of hardware is called the NT phone. Think of it like a standard privacy-focused smartphone, but with one huge addition: an ENTIFY secure enclave. This is basically a protected, super secure cryptographic space on the phone for your most sensitive stuff. Apps, data, you name it. And here's the kicker: it can only be unlocked with a physical NFC identity card. And the way it works is designed to be super simple. You use your phone just like you normally would for everyday tasks, but when you need to get into that secure area, you just tap your physical card to the phone. That's it. You've unlocked the cryptographic space. What this means is even if someone steals your phone, that secure part stays completely locked down without your physical key. And this ecosystem goes way beyond just the phone. They've also got the mini end, which is this little USB reader that brings that same tap to unlock security to your computer, whether it's at work or at home. And they've also got something called an asset registry system. This uses secure NFC tags to basically link physical items, we're talking art, collectibles, whatever, to a digital proof of ownership. It's all about bridging that gap between the physical and digital worlds with real, verifiable trust. But here's the thing. These tools are really just the beginning. They're the building blocks for a much, much larger vision. So let's take a look at what that future looks like. Let's talk about the equity network. The entire network is built on this one core idea: sovereign identity. Now, this isn't an identity that a corporation or a government gives you. No, this is an identity that is private, it's secured by cryptography, it's held by you, and it's totally impossible to replicate. This single idea is the foundation for everything else. So once you have that sovereign identity as your foundation, you can start to build the equity network. And what is that? Well, it's designed to be a totally private, decentralized economy. We're talking private communication that's tied to your identity, cryptographic banking and digital cash, and a secure way to tokenize real-world assets. The whole thing runs on this unique kind of network they call a proofless meshnet blockchain, and it's all powered by their equity token. It's a really comprehensive vision for a whole parallel digital economy. But, a new economy needs a new way of thinking about value itself. And this brings us to the final and maybe the most philosophical piece of this whole puzzle: their plan to completely redefine what economic value even means. At the very heart of this new economic model is something they call the fair price oracle. The idea here is to create a mathematical system that can figure out the real economic value of something, whether that's a currency or an asset, completely separate from all the market speculation and hype. So think of it like trying to price something based on its actual utility, or the energy that went into making it, not just what someone's willing to pay for it on a given day. This system is the engine that powers their equity token. And this quote, it just perfectly captures the spirit of what they're trying to do: measuring life, not money. I mean, that's a huge shift in thinking, right? Instead of just measuring market hype, the goal is to create a system that reflects a value that's more connected to the human experience, or, as they put it, to life itself. And this slide really puts it all into sharp contrast. You've got the current system, which they argue is based on speculative value, currencies that inflate, and centralized control. And then you have ENTIFY's vision, replacing all that with real economic value, a mathematically stable unit of account, and decentralized sovereignty that puts control right back into the hands of individuals. So, we've gone from the problem of surveillance all the way to the solution of sovereign identity, from privacy-focused hardware to a whole new economic philosophy. ENTIFY is really proposing a complete blueprint for what they call a sovereign digital world. And all of that leaves us with one last really powerful question to think about. What if? What if your identity, your communication, and all your assets were truly, cryptographically your own? That's the future ENTIFY is trying to build. Thanks for joining me for this one.